substantial, viewers. And on the face of it, many legal luminaries, including Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, who was the person who actually got the ball rolling in this entire matter by filing a case against the Gandhis, says that the charges are watertight. This is an open and shut case. What is it really, this case? Let me quickly run you through it, viewers, because this is going to become a massive talking point over the next few days, weeks, months. The acquisition of AJL, Associated Journals Ltd by Young India for almost nothing is the principal charge, that Young Indian acquired AJL. Now, what are all these abbreviations about? The Gandhis, as majority stakeholders of Young Indian, allegedly acquired Associated Journals Ltd. So, the Gandhis floated Young Indian, a not-for-profit organization, company, call it what you want to, and allegedly acquires another not-for-profit NGO, let's put it like that, called AGL, which had real estate assets worth over 800 crores for just 50 lakhs without paying Associated Journals debts or compensating shareholders. There were supposed to be thousands of shareholders. They were never consulted, but the entire shareholding, almost barring a percent, was transferred to Young Indians, in which the two Gandhis have a majority shareholding. More than 70% of the shares are with them. The waiving of 90.25 crore debt without due process is the other big charge. Congress party apparently loaned 90.25 crores to Associated Journals Ltd, which was then transferred to Young Indian. That's the charge. The ED alleges this was a bogus transaction created to enable Gandhis via the Young Indian to gain control over AJL's substantial assets, which run into thousands of crores. At one time, they were pegged at 2,000 crores. They have properties, viewers, Delhi, Mumbai. They have properties in Lucknow, massive properties which are out on rent and which allegedly collect money. The misuse of political party funds is another big charge. Enforcement Directorate contends that Congress funds meant for public political purposes were misused to extend unsecured loans to a private entity, violating the Income Tax Act and the Representation of the People's Act. Another big charge, the control over AJL's prime real estate. Now, I told you that the Associated Journals Ltd, which used to print a newspaper in the past, viewers, that predated freedom for India Independence Day, that owned a huge amount of real estate. Through Young Indians, the special purpose vehicle, you can call it that, the Gandhis got indirect control over Herald House in Delhi, a massive property, which is just on the cusp really of Connaught Place or Rajiv Chowk, and other properties in Lucknow, Mumbai, Bhopal, valuable assets, really, leased at concessional rates, meant for publishing, not commercial gain. Then, viewers, the charge is that there's been no actual newspaper revival, while the ostensible purpose of acquiring AJL was to, quote, revive the National Herald newspaper, unquote. Enforcement Directorate found no substantial publication activity, suggesting the revival was a facade. Of course, the Congress has come out and said, no, we publish, we just don't publish in physical form, we are on the web now. There's a conflict of interest and self-dealing charge. Rahul Gandhi, as a trustee of Young Indian and a beneficiary of AJL's assets, allegedly participated in decisions that favored his own financial interests, indicating possible criminal breach of trust. Then there's another charge, undervalued shareholding for undue benefit. Young Indian received 99% of AJL shares at a minuscule cost, a transaction the ED alleges was structured to illegitimately enrich its shareholders, primarily Rahul and Sonia Gandhi. Violation of income tax laws. The Income Tax Department held that Young Indian is not a charitable entity as it is claimed, since it was involved in commercial real estate exploitation. ED uses this to argue intent to profit, not public service. The Congress, viewers, like in the past, has alleged vendetta. Jairam Ramesh, the Congress media cell in charge, has come out and said, and I quote, Seizing the assets of National Herald is a state-sponsored crime, masquerading as the rule of law. Filing charge sheets against Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and some others is nothing but the politics of vendetta and intimidation by the Prime Minister and the Home Minister gone completely berserk. But viewers, crying vendetta may not be credible enough defense. Why? Remember, the Gandhis are already out on bail in this case, and the ED will be posing some very sharp questions that will require substantive and credible answers. Failing which, the Gandhi mother and son duo may be staring at jail time. There are big questions, and let me put them out for you, viewers. Why did the Congress fund a private company's debt? Congress gave AJL rupees 90 crore. Was this a legitimate political expense or misuse of party funds? Another question, viewers. Why create Young Indian to take over AJL? A new company was floated. Rahul and Sonia own 76% of that company. Why not revive the newspaper via AJL directly? So was the whole idea to transfer the massive assets to Young India and by extension to the Gandhis? Big question. Was the rupees 90 crore loan ever repaid? Young Indian acquired AJL for just 50 lakhs. Did the Congress simply gift away the assets worth thousands of crores? Did the Gandhis regain control of real estate worth crores? AJL owns prime properties in Delhi, Mumbai, Lucknow. Was this about journalism or asset control? A fifth question. Why were AJL's properties rented, not used for journalism? Millions earned from commercial rentals. Where's the newspaper revival Congress promised? Another question, viewers. Last but not least, if Young Indian was a non-profit, why not claim tax exemptions? Income tax says Young Indian didn't qualify as a real non-profit. So was it a private enterprise in disguise? Viewers, as Congress claims vendetta, the party has announced nationwide protests, and that's the big story tomorrow. So from the 16th of April, which is tomorrow, there are going to be massive protests by the Congress party over the ED charge sheet. Expect this matter to hit the courts a few days later. In fact, in the latter half of this month, we're expecting an important court hearing. Remember, the charge sheet has already been accepted. A charge sheet is only fine once the probe is completed. So the ED has completed its probe. So it must have something substantial, that it has gone ahead to press charges, and that's what makes this a massive story. It's the first ever charge sheet against the Gandhis, viewers. This is crossing a Rubicon that has never been crossed before. Gaurav Bhatia, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dr. Ranganath and Ashutosh Mishra, Akashdeep Muni, they're all there. Anish Gawande, spokesperson of the NCP, star-studded list of informed individuals. Let me first ask the most basic question tonight. Mr. Bhatia, let me begin with you. Since it's the ED that is making the claims today, the ED that has completed the probe today, the ED that has taken, viewers, 10 years, can you believe it? 10 years. In 2015, these two were out on bail. It's taken 10 years? Mr. Bhatia, many people are surprised it's taken 10 years. Open and shut case, everyone is saying. 10 years? Why 10 years? Most basic question, let me ask you this. Please respond.
Rahul, first of all, let me make it very clear. When you say it has taken 10 years, that's not factually correct. Because we are talking about a case which is being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate. And it is not the predicate offence of which a trial is going on. And Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi both are out on bail. Having said that, let's hit the larger point and the issue that we are discussing. Today, Sonia Gandhi is accused number 1. Rahul Gandhi is accused number 2. Disgrace for a family that has been bestowed so much of respect and love and affection by the people of the country. They decided to loot the country and they thought it is their birthright. So the larger message of which I am very proud of, that Shri Narendra Modi ji's led government is giving out a strong message that there is zero tolerance for corruption. And no one, even not the fake Gandhis, are above the rule of law. The law catches up, and now I would not be surprised. One day we will see these most corrupt family in the world behind bars, and every penny of people being extracted from them. Two, let us come to the most basic answer that is being given by the Congress. And I will show you something very surprising. How they try to mislead the people of the country and they cheat the people of the country. The Congress party today is saying it is a case of political vendetta. Now, is it not correct that in the earlier case, which is section 420 cheating and section 406, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, they moved to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court refused to quash the charges that were there. What does it mean? If it is a case of political vendetta, the Honorable Supreme Court in Bhajanlal case, which is the Constitution Bench case, has clearly stated that political vendetta would be a ground for quashing the FIR and charge sheet.
Yes.
Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi approached the High Court and the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, in its order, which I will place before you, clearly stated, and this is the order, I have it in my hand now, 12th June 2016. The Supreme Court said this very clearly: in rejecting the prayer for quashing the proceedings against the petitioner is concerned, we find no justification in interfering therewith. And here is the name of Sonia Gandhi. The other petitioner was Rahul Gandhi. So I made it very clear, this defense is very feeble because there has been judicial scrutiny. Supreme Court found no merit in their petition. Coming to the third part, which is very important. Is Congress a private limited company? Or is this not a case of conflict of interest? That party funds are being used to have a stake in a company and thus transferring the assets of that company, as you rightly said, of over 2,000 crore by just paying a very meager 1 crore loan was taken by another company which gave loan to Young India. So my point is very simple. The Gandhis spend not a penny, but they end up owning or controlling assets worth 2,000 crores. Can there be a bigger scam? And the Gandhis need to answer these tough questions.
Okay, let me open this up. Akashdeep Muni, this is a case where it will be difficult to cry vendetta simply because when the Gandhis, after having secured bail, went knocking to the Supreme Court saying, quash this probe, it's all fake, nothing in it. The Supreme Court said nothing doing. It refused to quash the probe. We find no justification of interfering therein, quote unquote, was what the Supreme Court said. Even I have that quote here. So, fine. Yes, the ED has taken 10 years because Mr. Bhatia says they don't want to get it wrong. They're creating a completely watertight case. They wanted to ensure that all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed. What's wrong in that? Due process. If they had gone in a hurry, you would have said, look, this is a witch hunt.
Rahulji, this case showed the government's moral and logical bankruptcy. And I'll prove it to you today. This shows how the government is afraid of the opposition's questions. Now, this has not taken 10 years. It has taken 12 years. And this 12 years, just 2 years after the investigation, in 2015, Rajan Katoch, the then ED director, concluded after investigation that there is no case in National Herald case. After which, in September 2015, he was changed and new ED director was appointed, after which the case reopened. And please check the facts if I am wrong. What happens then if a ED director has done his investigation and proved that there is no case in a particular case and there is a closure report? Why that case was reopened after change of the particular ED director after he sending a note to the Revenue Secretary? Why? Letter from ED to Revenue Secretary clearly stated it. And I will be going one step ahead. What happens when the cases in Bharatmala project where the BJP state governments of Chhattisgarh in March 2025, just 1 month ago, acknowledged in the floor of the assembly that there has been misappropriation, financial. The ED does not stands up. But when it comes to the National Herald case, the ED stands up. Why this change, or why this partial...
Okay, so the second aspect of your response is why doesn't the ED act fairly against everyone, including politicians that are part of the BJP ecosystem? One second. I want to bring in Mr. Bhatia to respond to this, because they say Rajan Katoch, former... I'll come to you, doctor. I'll come to you. Just a minute. Mr. Bhatia, the charge is one particular Enforcement Directorate director, Rajan Katoch, said there's no case, shut it, this is just sententious. Yet after he's removed, the case is revived and all these charges are brought up and he said they are trumped up. Quick response to that point, and then I want to open this up. Yes.
So now some facts, because we should be debating on facts, and I think that would reveal the truth. The ECIR, which is equivalent to an FIR, was recorded by the ED on 30th of June 2021. So we are in 25. It's 4 years of probe. 4 years. I'm giving you the date. In August and September 2022 and 24, searches conducted by ED at various locations. November 2023, property worth 751 crores attached by a provisional attachment order and confirmation of the same in April 2024. So ED has been doing its job very well. I think they have nailed it, and that is why the Gandhi Parivar is quite afraid of facing the law. And as I mentioned, their petition was dismissed, and I've given you the date. Second, if there is a person, he is saying Mr. Katoch as a director was of the opinion that there is no case made out. One, I have not seen that opinion. It is always okay for any investigating agency and a senior person to review the facts and then form an opinion. If they are aggrieved, they can take this ground before the Supreme Court and the High Court, or Mr. Katoch himself could have filed a petition before the Supreme Court and High Court saying that he was under tremendous pressure. He felt that the case should be closed. I don't think any such petition has come. So this argument also is meaningless. Last but not the least, the most cheap, petty, dirty politics. And you may note this. Rahul, when Motilal Vora passed away, do you know what Rahul Gandhi said? Motilal Vora, after his demise, is the main culprit. He is the accused.
That's true.
Because he was the one who got my signatures on the relevant papers and I know nothing about it. And Rahul Gandhi, mind you, was around 48-year-old then, or 47-year-old. Now 47-year-old pinning the blame on a person who honestly served the Gandhi Parivar, and he had passed away. How cheap and dirty and petty can it get? Can it get worse than this? I think they are a shame to the country and they're getting exposed now.
Though, you know, the age thing, Mr. Bhatia, doesn't really count, because, you know, there was another chief minister of Delhi who never signed a file. And there was a president of the United States who was 78 but never signed anything. So age is no defense. But anyhow, I
agree with you. I agree with you, but they always say that he's not mature. Even at 53, he's not mature.
Okay, viewers, age is but a number, as they say. Age is but a number. Mr. Gawande is smiling. Mr. Gawande, you look good when you smile, but I'm afraid...
You don't give me too many chances to smile.
I'm afraid, Mr. Gawande, I'm afraid that it's not looking very good for the Gandhis, is it? There are certain questions, and let me just put one to you. I'm sure you've come very well prepared, as you always do. Dr. Ranganathan is sharpening his knife in that corner, and he's going to come after you, so be careful. Both of you are dressed in pink tonight. If Young Indian was a non-profit, why not claim tax exemptions? Income tax says Young Indian didn't qualify as a real non-profit. So was it a private enterprise in disguise? Simple, straightforward question, because this is at the heart of it all.
So Rahul, to begin with, very simply, I, as you know, will not comment on the specifics of this case because it has always been my party position to not comment on specifics of such cases.
Are you also underage?
What I will... No, what I will say though is that due process must follow its course, right? That the quashing petition that was asked for did not sort of get accepted. Now I think the Gandhis, like Pawar Sahib did in 2019, should go before the ED and should present their case before the ED.
They don't need to anymore. They need to do it in front of the court. That's the beauty of it. You see,
in
now,
front of the
viewers,
court.
it has come to court. The ED has done its investigations. The questioning has been done. There is nothing more for the ED to do, Dr. Ranganathan, with the Gandhis. Now it presents its evidence. It only has two choices: mount a case that is effective enough to send them to jail, or have egg on their face. That's it.
Indeed, Rahul, good evening to you and my fellow panelists. The bold appear brave till they are bought, and the crooks appear convincing till they are caught. The news is well and truly, finally, Rahul, tightening around the Gandhis. National Herald scam is as open and shut as my mouth 2 seconds after spotting sugar-free Mysore Pak. It is the Kohinoor in the Congress crown of scams. You know, in the latest version of Microsoft Word, if you were to right-click the word Congress, the first synonym that crops up is scam. So the question is not that the Congress is corrupt or indulging in scams. Of course it is. I mean, the scam glut is such that even Congress leaders get confused which Congress leader perpetrated which scam. Was Raja in National Herald, Kalmadi in Colgate, Natwar in Commonwealth, was Chidambaram in 2G? The cup runneth over. No. The question is, are these scams more than a decade old? The answer is yes. So when will the guilty be punished? And that is why I'm afraid the Congress is going to brazen this out. And worse comes to the worst, Rahul Gandhi will join the BJP if it already isn't in the BJP. In any case, you know, the fact of the matter is, in this country, you can fool all of the people all of the time. So it is important that I break down this scam in easy, digestible bits. In 2008, National Herald newspaper that was launched by Jawaharlal Nehru in 1938 accumulated a debt of 90 crores because, quite frankly, no reader likes paying for fake news and propaganda. Congress offered 90 crore interest-free loan in quanta to the Associated Journals Ltd, AJL, running National Herald, but the attempt to bring back the newspaper failed. So in 2010, Young India Limited was set up, in which Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi held a majority share of 76%. Now please remember, the Congress that had originally lent money to AJL now assigned the debt to Young India Limited, which meant that Associated Journals Limited had to pay back 90 crores to Young India Limited. But because AJL was not in a position to repay the loan, the company transferred its shareholding to the Gandhi-owned Young India Limited, for which they received only 50 lakhs. Associated Journals Limited had real estate properties worth 2,000 crores, some say 800 crores now, only according to the then law minister, but also by the trial court that has been quoted by the High Court. In summary, Congress provided an interest-free 90 crore loan that AJL never repaid the loan. Therefore, Congress assigned this 90 crore AJL debt to a company floated by the Gandhis, and it turned got 50 lakhs. In effect, the Gandhis got control of AJL's assets that are worth 2,000 crores. Now, finally, ED is saying, let me explain this finally. The fact of the matter is, you paid 50 lakhs, you got something worth 2,000 crores. Now, Ashutosh ji is there. He is a supporter of the Congress. I have 5 simple questions for Ashutosh ji. Number 1, what is the shareholding of Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi in Young Indian? 2, does Young Indian now own Associated Journals? 3, what is the total worth of the properties owned by Associated Journals Limited? 4, who gave 50 lakhs to Young Indian so it could buy Associated Journals? And number 5, why was Herald House, a prime Lutyens property worth 400 crores, put as collateral? 5 simple questions. Are there any answers?
Ashutosh ji, it's very simple. Congress bails out a company that was basically printing a defunct newspaper. The newspaper was being printed from various offices, from buildings that were worth crores and crores. This particular company defaults. It can't make profits to pay back the loan. The Congress should have taken the company back to it and all its assets. But guess what happens? The assets go to the Gandhis and the liabilities go to the Congress.
So, Kapil Sibal has already answered your question.
ये तो मैंने कभी सुना नहीं.
No, I think Kapil Sibal has already answered your question.
Where did he answer
He has
it,
already
sir?
said.
He answered it
Can I
in the
continue?
Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court told him, I'm sorry, we will continue this investigation because your answers are not satisfactory, sir. I mean, this is what was said. What are you saying? Is that your defense tonight? Or are you saying
So
it's
if you-
okay, it's the Congress party, Congress, you know, the owners of the Congress really are the Gandhis, so what's the big deal if they get a few assets? But those assets, viewers, are public property. Ashutosh Mishra, that's the problem. Please answer. I'm confused.
Rahul, you are confused. It's very obvious.
I'm
because these properties do not go to Gandhis. These are with the company. The Gandhis cannot sell them. First of all, let's be very clear about that. It's owned by the company. And in this case,
The company is
why
owned by,
PMLA
the company is owned by, hello, who is the company owned by?
the company, they are the majority shareholder, but they cannot sell it.
So
They
the
do not get
Gandhis
dividend.
own the company
They
that
do
has
not
all
get
the
dividend.
assets,
That's
but
what
they
you have to
can't do.
understand.
Why are
No,
they some?
this is
No, no,
the
are they?
part-
No, no.
this is
How do you know
most
they
of
can't?
These buildings are used by. They are part of Congress party.
Oh, so what
you
is
have
the
to
Congress
understand what's-
party, which
what
is
the-
basic?
what
Now, hang on,
BJP
viewers. See,
as
this
the
is what I was
Congress has
getting
said.
at.
As the
You see,
Congress
Ashutosh
has
Mishra
said
has shot
that
himself
just
in the
like
foot.
They froze the bank account before the Lok Sabha elections. Now they are trying to take
He is
Congress
confused.
properties.
Okay,
so that
okay. Now
Congress
you see,
stops to work.
Ashutosh
You
Mishra
have
has
to
shot
understand
himself
that.
in the foot.
The AO, what you are talking about, why
Okay.
have they taken it?
Dr.
taken it in the
Ranganathan is
PMLA?
coming in with an intervention.
Because PMLA
Factual intervention.
is the-
A headline.
is the-
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I was just saying that my good friend Dr. Muni, who was waxing eloquent about the problem is with the BJP, would he please explain why an AAP leader said that National Herald was an open and shut case and Kejriwal actually echoed it? Could you please explain that, Dr. Muni?
See, Ranganathan ji, even Aam Aadmi Party said that the liquor scam was an open and shut case. There was no scam at all. Did you agree with them? If you don't agree in the first instance, how would you agree in the second instance?
No, and guess
Now, my
what?
point
The
is-
liquor scam was actually brought to the attention. No, Muni Sahab, the liquor scam was brought to the
By the
attention
Congress.
of the authorities by the Congress party.
Now, no, I totally agree with you.
You agree with
But-
me? So the Congress says the AAP is corrupt and was part of the liquor scam. The AAP says the Congress was corrupt and is part. In fact, its leadership, its bosses, the Gandhis are part of the Herald scam. And they agree with me. So viewers, it's an open and shut case. They're all guilty. Now the point is, viewers, now I have, no, one second, I want to bring in Mr. Mahesh Jethmalani very quickly. I'm told he's joined the panel. Mr. Bhatia, these are important questions because I also want your views on this. And this is going to be an important opinion because he is somebody who is familiar with this case in more ways than one. So therefore, I want to bring you in, Mr. Jethmalani. Thank you very much. Look, I have to ask you this because there is a massive time period issue and Mr. Bhatia has tried to explain it. Gandhi's got bail in 2015. Since then, the ED has taken 10 years to complete the probe. 10 years. Big 10 years. What does this delay suggest? Many say that it suggests that there's no case. And if the ED is moving now, it's because of political pressures, etc., etc. How do you view this?
Well, I'm just to be charitable, I would suggest that the ED is terribly overworked. I mean, I don't know in a case like this why they shouldn't have, because actually it's quite a shocking case. It's usurpation of public properties and, valuable, immovable properties in 3 cities. So it's quite shocking. I mean, Lucknow, Delhi, and one more
Mumbai.
place, so Bombay, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So and not only that, they've been continuing to derive rent from this property, I'm told. So the scale of the misdemeanors by these people is quite drastic.
Well, if you were to believe Abhishek Manu Singhvi, he has a different move on this. He says that no proceed of crime and no complainant claiming to have been cheated. And Young Indian, which is a company that is owned by the Gandhis, hasn't taken any money or property from AJL. So that's what their point of view is. But you seem to think it's an open and shut case. Why?
I think so. I remember, I'd seen the complaint when, it was first drafted. I'd seen the complaint. And in fact, I'd made some suggestions even at that time. So I think it's an open and shut case. It's complete, it's usurpation of properties, it's breach of trust, and it's cheating. It's all those offenses are made out. Properties under your control. Young India has usurped them. It doesn't belong to, it's not public, it's public property. It's not their private property of young India. Never was. And they paid 50 lakhs for properties worth well nigh about, anything from 1,000 to 2,000 crores. I don't know what the valuation today is. But at that time in 2015, when I had a first glance at the complaint, it seemed to be an open and shut case even then.
Well, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, who got the ball rolling, and we have to be thankful to Dr. Swamy, he's tweeted to say, and I quote, Mr. Jethmani, he says, quote, ED should have arrested Sonia and Rahul Gandhi first because Section 19 of PMLA requires the arrest of the prosecuted first, which are Sonia, Rahul and Sam Petroda, unquote. What do you make of this?
Well, certainly it's a case for arrest. I mean, it's a shocking case. And, as far as the predicate offense is concerned, it's been pending, as you said, from 2015. And they went all the way to the Supreme Court. They went to the High Court for quashing the complaint. It was rejected. They went to the Supreme Court, and they're on bail right now. In the predicate offense, they're on bail.
Yeah.
So why they shouldn't have been arrested and moved courts for bail in PMLA is surprising, because this is a case of money laundering.
That's a very big statement. I want to just bring in Gaurav Bhatia on this point. Gaurav Bhatia, why haven't they been arrested? Even Mr. Jethmalani is surprised. Dr. Swamy has come out and he said, look, complete case for arrest here. Why haven't they been arrested?
No, first of all, whatever Mahesh ji has said, let us remember one thing. It is not for me to comment or for Mahesh ji to comment as to whether they should be arrested and when they should be arrested. There are Supreme Court judgments, and as well as the law of the country states that the investigating officer is the only authority who would take a decision regarding the arrest. But I can tell you one thing, any investigating agency under Narendra Modi ji is fearlessly working to ensure that the corrupt are booked and are behind bars. It's no longer a caged parrot as it was during the UPA era. The Supreme Court made that remark. The three cities where there were properties worth 2,000 crores were Delhi, Mumbai and Lucknow. And do you know what the case is? Rahul, the case is that there has been fraudulent takeover of these properties which are worth 2,000 crores by only paying a meager amount. And who are the shareholders? Who are the controlling stakeholders? 38% in Young India is with Rahul Gandhi and 38% is with Sonia Gandhi. That means 76% is owned by the fake Gandhis. And thus, I would end by saying the Gandhis should open ED coaching center, because be it Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi or Robert Vadra, all three have been interrogated by the ED, and I must tell you that they have a lot of experience of answering tough questions, people who thought they are above the law of the country.
Okay, so Dr. Ranganathan, look, I have to ask you this because Dr. Subramaniam Swamy has pointed to the law. Now, he's never infirm on these issues. He says they should have been arrested first because Section 19 of PMLA requires the arrest of the prosecuted first, and we've seen it, Kejriwal, Sisodia, the whole brigade. A lot of opposition leaders have been to jail. They know jail better than their constituencies, some people would say. So I have to ask you, Dr. Ranganathan, I have to ask you this question because I get the sense that the Gandhis somehow retain a place far above everyone else. They're put on this pedestal, which is almost sort of puts them beyond the reach. Do you agree with me, or am I just sort of playing to the galleries here?
Well, it would not be uncharitable for me to say, and Gaurav Bhai would possibly back me up on this, that the BJP needs the Gandhis. And that is the reason why they are not yet piecing Chakki. But, let me give you just the data, and, I would like Gaurav ji to at least address it. You see, as far as the PMLA cases are concerned, it is a fact that the conviction rate of ED is 95%.
Yeah.
That is, that if all the cases that have been adjudicated on, 95% of the cases that ED has worked on has carried conviction. But the fact is that out of 5,800 cases that ED has filed, only 1% have reached the conviction possibility. So something is wrong, if not with the ED, which is with the government, with our justice system. Why is it in the last 10 years, only 45 odd cases have been decided by the judiciary?
Okay.
What about the other 5,600 cases?
What happens?
Mr. Bhatia, you need to answer.
Can I answer?
What happens? Process worse than the punishment. Yes.
You know, first of all, when Anand Bhai says that BJP needs the Gandhis, that might be very true because they demolished the Congress very well. But India doesn't need them. And we have always placed nation's interest over our own. So, you know, I would say they should be behind bars. And I am sure that ED would do a very fine job at that. Second, when you give me the number that the conviction rate is 95%, it is actually 96%. You are very right. But there is a need to overhaul the criminal justice system, as he very rightly said. The bail granted to Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi was almost 8 years back, Rahul. But the trial has not been brought to a logical conclusion.
Yeah.
So it is not a problem that a government can solve overnight. It is not a problem that ED is not doing its job. And I would say the judges are overworked also. But yes, definitely we need some drastic reforms to ensure that trials are conducted in a time-bound manner.
You know, we can talk about reforms, viewers, but the BJP does, the BJP can't constantly use this as a whipping rod.
No, we have no control over court proceedings.
Look,
Sorry,
the ED should have gone quicker
Rahul,
with this. Anyhow,
I'm telling you,
we can
as
debate
a very
this.
neutral person.
Okay,
who's
we
part
can
of the
debate this.
system.
We can debate. I have a different view on
Yes,
this, but we can debate this.
that. But
Fair
you
enough.
can't
I
blame
need to
the
move on,
government for
viewers,
that.
because there is a story that is crying out for national attention. And lives are on the line, viewers. And Mr. Bhatia, Dr. Ranganathan, and also the TMC representative, Mr. Garga, will be here with us. Now, viewers, under the pretext of Anti-Waqf Amendment Act protests, Hindu families have faced violent assaults, their homes torched and plundered. If some of them are to be believed, they were also issued threats of death and rape. 3 people were killed, including 70-year-old Hargobind Das and his son Chandan Das in Shamsher Ganj, which comes under Murshidabad district, which is a Muslim majority district that abuts Bangladesh. The situation is so bad that Hindus, especially women, were forced to flee. The police and border security haven't been spared either. Finally, the Calcutta High Court instructed the Central Armed Forces to be deployed in the areas affected by the unrest. Now, many Hindus who are living in Murshidabad district want the Central Forces to stay on. Listen in.
इलाका का सिचुएशन तो बहुत ही खराब है, बहुत ही डरावना मचा हुआ है। हम लोगों को शांति चाहिए, सुरक्षा चाहिए, और ऐसा सिचुएशन क्यों आया है उसका भी सॉल्व चाहिए हम लोगों को, कि ऐसा सिचुएशन दोबारा ना होए। और हाँ, हम लोगों का सुरक्षा चाहिए, परमानेंट सेंट्रल फोर्स का सुरक्षा चाहिए।
Permanent central force should be deployed here, but Mamata Banerjee is still not ready to unequivocally blame the Muslim mob for the attack. She doesn't even name them. In fact, in a shocking attempt to shield the Muslim mobs from blame, the Bengal Chief Minister has implied that the violence was the result of a provocation. Mamata Banerjee says, and I quote her, "Some people may instigate you, but do not be provoked. Those who keep a cool head despite provocations are the true winners. May you all be victorious," unquote. Does Mamata Banerjee know that some of the Hindu victims are children? How does, madam, a 8-day-old, yes, 8-day-old baby provoke? That to a mob. That too when Hindus are in a minority in Murshidabad. The fact is that the TMC is hell-bent on victim shaming because many say it lacks the courage to take a stand against its vote bank. Here are some more examples of how the party is deflecting onus away from the Muslim mob. And I have to use this word because it's the Muslims who are out there, viewers, tonight. And yesterday night and day before. And this will continue till next Friday. Sagrika Ghosh, TMC MP, says, and I quote, "The BJP is desperate to create communal riots in Bengal. Unfortunately, the saffron goons are up against the best law enforcement in the country. Bengal police and Calcutta police are crack forces, among the best in the country. BJP will fail, unquote. So viewers, where there are Muslim mobs running amok, lighting up public property, she is calling those BJP mobs, BJP goons. Kunal Ghosh, TMC leader, says some miscreants entered, created chaos and were given safe passage to return. I use the words border and with the help of a section of BSF. Whether it is true or not, there is a need for proper investigation. The local people are not finding any known faces, unquote. So viewers, of course, the Muslims of Murshidabad are angels. They are not rotten. The BSF brought in Bangladeshi miscreants to do all of this. Viewers, how does this man expect to go back to that lady who we just quoted, who came out and said very clearly that we need central forces? If the central forces are hands in glove with those people who are attacking them, why would that lady be demanding central force protection, viewers? It just doesn't make sense. In fact, the real inciters that the TMC is whitewashing are hiding in plain sight. TMC MP, Bappi Haldar, what does he say? Quote, if someone dares to eye Waqf properties, gouge their eyes out and break their hands, unquote. That's what's happening. Congress leader Ahmed Kabir Khan says, this isn't something to be done casually. It must be planned. Heads must be broken and everything must be destroyed. Do whatever you must. The Waqf will stand with you, unquote. The BJP has slammed Mamata Banerjee for what it says is the complete breakdown of law and order in the state. Here's Yogi Adityanath leading the counter charge on Mamata Banerjee. Listening.
आप देख रहे होंगे बंगाल जल रहा है, वहां की मुख्यमंत्री चुप है, दंगाइयों को शांति दूत कहती है। अरे लातों के भूत बातों से कहां मानने वाले हैं? सेकुलरिज्म के नाम पर इन लोगों ने दंगाइयों को दंगा करने की पूरी छूट दे रखी है। पूरा मुर्शिदाबाद पिछले एक सप्ताह से चल रहा है। इस प्रकार की अराजकता पे लगाम लगनी चाहिए। कांग्रेस मौन है, समाजवादी पार्टी मौन है, टीएमसी मौन है। वे धमकी पे धमकी दिए जा रहे हैं, समर्थन कर रहे हैं। बांग्लादेश के अंदर जो हुआ था उसका समर्थन कर रहे हैं बड़ी बेशर्मी के साथ। अगर उन्हें बांग्लादेश अच्छा लगता है तो उनको बांग्लादेश ही जाना चाहिए, क्यों भारत की धरती पर बोझा बने हुए हो।
Given that law and order situation in Bengal is way past the point of no return and Hindus have lost their faith in Mamata Banerjee, the centre must consider central forces deployment in Bengal for an extended period under entry 2A of the Union List or Schedule 7. Anything else will be an abdication by the centre of its duty, its responsibility to safeguard the territorial integrity and the peace in India. And that prompts big questions. Is Mamata trying to whitewash the crimes of Muslim mobs by whitewashing their guilt? Can Mamata explain how an 8-day-old baby and a 24-year-old mother, Shoptomi Mondor, could have provoked in a Muslim majority Murshidabad? Let's open this up. Let's, without delay, viewers, let's get to it. Let's ask some questions, and I want to go straight across to the gentleman tonight who is representing the TMC point of view, Orko Kumar Nog. I have to ask you this question. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
she says,
I can.
She says, don't fall for the provocations. Can I ask you, sir? Can I ask you, sir? How does an 8-day-old baby provoke a Muslim mob? Tell me, how does an 8-day-old baby provoke?
Well, it is not about provocation by the 8-day baby, but there are people in West Bengal, political persons whom I can even name, because we would be naming them day after tomorrow in court.
So should I try naming them? Bappi Haldar. Would you name Bappi Haldar?
Would you let me complete, I believe?
Now I want to ask you, who are these people you want to name? Name them.
You have to wait for till 17th. So the
wait
point
till the
is
17th.
there are
Why?
people...
Hang on. You're going to shoot and scoot, is it? What's happening on the 17th? Can you explain?
17th, the High Court has sought for a report.
So why can't you tell me now, since you're so convinced? Do you know, sir, Hindus are sitting across the river?
I am convinced because I have the report in my hand.
So tell me what the report says. No, why are you being so gun-shy? Why are you being so gun-shy? Are you telling me that Muslim mobs are not rampaging? Hang on, just show the pictures. Just show the pictures. Identify these people, sir. Aren't they Muslim mobs?
Either you are asking a question, sir, or you are making a statement.
I'm asking you
cannot
a
do
question.
both at the-
Are you
So then
saying that
let me
Muslim
answer.
mobs are not rampaging? Let's show the pictures of the Muslim mobs rampaging. This is a victim.
Let me
Answer me.
answer. Yes. The violence cannot be accepted and it is absolutely wrong. There is no hide and seek to that. Till now we have arrested.
Who's
more
behind
than
the violence?
250 We have arrested.
Who's behind
more
the
than
violence?
250,
Who's behind the
250
violence?
people.
Who is
You
behind
tell
the
me
violence?
You tell me who is behind the violence.
I can see it, sir.
It-
They're
it
Muslim
seems-
mobs that are behind the violence.
It seems so here then go ahead and hear me. Then go ahead and hear me. Have some patience. It is not too late in the night also. So there are already more than 250 people who have been arrested, and the FIRs have been registered. Whoever there is any kind of provocative messages or any kind of provocative point of view put forth in social media or anywhere else, we are taking strict action against them. And there are political leaders who are constantly making rubbish
Mr.
publications in
Arkonag,
the
I'm
media,
asking you,
trying to make it a point
who are
that-
the people who are rioting? They belong to
No,
a
I cannot
community.
give
Name
you
the
the name
community
of
tonight.
250 people.
Name the
Then I
community.
have to give the-
Name the community
No.
tonight. Name it.
Sir, the difficulty is
The difficulty is what?
courts, the courts
Oh,
of the
now,
country.
let me
do
tell
not,
you, viewers, what the
behave
difficulty is. The
like,
difficulty is
political
a 60%
media persons, right?
vote bank
We don't
in
go ahead and
Murshidabad.
we don't
That's the
mark,
difficulty. A
communities.
60%
A
vote
criminal
bank
is
in
a criminal.
Murshidabad,
A
where
criminal
viewers,
is a criminal, and I'm sure the BJP
let me
spokesperson,
tell you,
Gauravji, who
a
is also a
Hindu,
very senior
no, one
advocate,
second,
would
where a
know
Hindu
and
member
will
of
support me
parliament
that
from the
courts do
Congress
not
party
go
used to
ahead and
fight
make,
elections.
political comments or make
No, one
comments
second,
against
one second. To
individuals' community
defeat
at
him,
large.
Mamta Banerjee brings an out-of-state Muslim from Gujarat, Yusuf Pathan. This is not, viewers, this is not about anything but protecting and whitewashing a particular vote bank. They can't even bring themselves to say there is a Muslim mob. Had there been Hindus on the streets and they have used terms like saffron terror in the past, Hindu terror in the past, they have attacked Hindu processionists, they have named them, they have said these are Hindu groups, that Jai Shri Ram is an abuse. And tonight, viewers, you have Arkonag who can't bring himself to take the name of the real culprits. Why? Okay. Now you abuse the journalist. Now you can abuse the journalist, sir. I'm asking you a simple question. You are not giving me an answer.
Muslim brought from the other state to defeat somebody.
Okay.
I believe you should get yourself checked.
Oh, right.
It is a
Now,
checking
hang
you
on.
need.
Viewers, he says,
nothing
what
to
is the
hang
problem
on.
if you bring a Muslim
Your
from
viewers
another
have
state?
understood
Because
your
viewers,
propaganda,
when
sir.
they call
There is
Modi
no
and Shah
point.
Gujarati Boheruitos,
Yeah.
then they don't have a problem. Then they distinguish between Indians who are Bengalis and Gujaratis. But when it comes to winning an
There is
election,
no
those
difference
distinctions
between
go.
Gujaratis and
These people are
Bengalis in
two-faced,
Bengal.
viewers. They are
Gujaratis in
two-faced.
Kolkata
1 minute.
vote
Let
for
me just
TMC.
bring in Dr.
They don't
Ranganathan and
vote
Mr.
for
Bhatia.
BJP.
Mr. Bhatia, quick response. You are being accused tonight. Your party has been accused of inciting, troublemaking, using an issue like the Waqf to polarize. That's what Mr. Nag is saying.
So let us first demolish the defense at the first go. Say, assuming for the sake of argument, I deny, but for the sake of argument, it is the BJP that is inciting violence. Under the Constitution of India, whose responsibility is it to maintain law and order? 7th schedule, state list, first entry, law and order is a state subject. So the person here representing Mamta Banerjee is admitting that Mamta Banerjee has failed in her duty to ensure proper law and order in West Bengal. They should have arrested the culprits, whoever that culprit might be. Since you have not been able to do that, since you have not ensured the safety of the citizens of India and people staying in West Bengal, Mamta Banerjee should resign. 2. Do you know who's to be blamed, Rahul? It is Mamta Banerjee herself, and I will tell you the reason why. A law that has been enacted and passed by the parliament of the country, once notified and president's assent received, has to be implemented in letter and spirit in every area, every state. No chief minister who has taken the oath of the constitution can say that I will not implement the law. This is exactly what Mamta Banerjee did. She is busy reading the Quran for appeasement politics, but she forgot to read Article 254 of the Constitution, which says if there is repugnancy between the legislature of the center and the state assembly, the center law will prevail. Third, have you heard Firad Hakim, a minister in Mamata Banerjee's government? He is saying there is no exodus. And do you know why? There is no exodus because people, to save their lives, have moved from one district, Murshidabad, to the other district.
But Mr. Bhatia,
rather than ensuring
we know
their
the
security.
Facts. Arko Kumar Nag might
This
be
is
denying
what
them.
he said.
I know the facts. But today we have reached a point where Hindus are feeling insecure. And there's a legal basis for deployment even without state consent. And I'm talking about central forces.
And let me answer that.
You heard the people. You know, there's entry 2A of the union list, 7th
I
schedule.
have the order. Let me
Section
cite
130, 131 of the CRPC. Tell me, why can't we permanently deploy central forces?
I'm answering that. I'm answering that. Do you know, Rahul, the order that even Arkaji was relying on? Who is the petitioner? It is Suvendu Adhikari, the leader of opposition, the BJP leader. He went to the Calcutta High Court and he prayed. What did he pray for? Deployment of central forces. The Calcutta High Court, reprimanding Mamata Banerjee, gave a direction: central forces may be deployed, and it has been deployed to ensure safety. And one assurance I want to give to all the viewers in India and especially from West Bengal: we will leave no stone unturned to ensure their safety. No goons will be able to threaten the Hindus or people of any religion. If it needs more deployment
Dr.
of central
Ranganathan,
forces, we'll do
if
that.
the Chief Minister of a state is being told by the High Court, look, you've lost control, you can't guarantee law and order, fall back on the central forces, why is she even a Chief Minister and a Home Minister combined? Why is she there?
Rahul, let's be very honest.
It's a joke.
It's a complete joke and a farce being played out. And the only reason why we've stopped worrying about it is because of the ubiquitous nature of it. On the day when in Tamil Nadu, Waqf board has claimed an entire village, we are having these riots in the name of preserving the original act. But let me come to this. And here I am at variance with my good friend Gauravji. Is it news that Mamta works for appeasement? Is it news? No, it isn't. She herself has accepted it in so many words. In Bengali, she said, if a cow gives milk, be prepared for the kicks, hinting that she will continue this process of appeasement. And there are multiple examples where she has appeased salaries to imams, so many other things. I don't even want to go into that. So that point is not in contention. Obviously, she is going to work for her vote bank. And obviously, she has dog whistled this time round blatantly. Because A, what Gaurav says is correct. She had no business to say that Bengal will not follow an act promulgated by the parliament because legally she is bound to. And number two, what does she actually mean except to provoke the Muslims by saying, do not be provoked. It's a dog whistle as ever there was one. So this is not news. What I want to ask Gauravji is something else. Gauravji, in the last 5 years, this is the 5th exodus of Hindus. It started with Diamond Harbour, then it was Birbhum, then it was Cooch Behar, then it was 24 Parganas, and now Murshidabad. This time round, thankfully, the High Court, through a petition admittedly by the BJP, has deployed central forces. But the fact of the matter is you stood silently and you watched the first time round. And as a result, you are being made to watch every time round. I want to ask you, what were the actions that you took other than pleading before the High Court? The center is powerful, or do you not understand that? What are you worried about?
Okay, quick response. Quick response, Mr. Bhatia.
Yes. So Anand, my good friend, forgot about Sandesh Khali. So you can add even one more to all the communal incidents that have happened there. When you ask me what have we done, one, Anand Bhai, we have played a very strong opposition's role there. If somebody is checking Mamata Banerjee from all the anarchy that prevails, it is the Bharatiya Janata Party. Two, do you know even in the Sandesh Khali communal riots or riots after the election results were declared on 2nd May, which party leader stood with the people of West Bengal? It was again the Bharatiya Janata Party, and Suvendu Adhikari, even during the Sandesh Khali riots, he was the one who was the petitioner. Deployment of central forces done by us. Our top leaders are visiting the families who are suffering and ensuring the BJP supports them. And I assure you of one thing.
We've done this earlier.
This misrule will not last for too long.
Well, you see, viewers,
people
next
of
year.
West Bengal have decided.
No, but we
that
can't
they
wait.
would change the
We
regime
can't
there.
wait. We
Bharatiya
can't wait.
Janata
Lives
Party
are in the
will be
balance.
there to
No,
protect
true,
the people
true.
of
But
the
you know, lives are in the balance. We know there are going to be elections next year. Can we wait till next year? God alone knows what will happen till then. Arko Nag finds it all very
Nobody
amusing,
said that.
viewers. He finds
On
it all
your
very
channel, I
amusing.
assured,
Remember in
even
this
more
country,
forces will be deployed.
viewers,
We
there are
will
more
ensure the
silent
safety of
Hindus
the
who
revolves.
abet.
If I get
That's
a
why
There are
chance
more
of one
silent
sentence,
Hindus that
if I
abet
get a
in the
chance
torture of their
one
fellow
sentence,
Hindus
one
than in any
sentence,
other.
if
No, no,
I
one
am
second.
allowed
Than
to
any other
speak
time.
against
Remember
BJP,
this,
I don't
viewers.
know whether I
We've
am
all been here
allowed to
before.
speak against
Arko
BJP
Kumar
in
Nag
October.
cannot bring himself
One
to blame a
sentence,
community tonight, viewers.
one
He
sentence against one
typifies
sentence,
the appeasement
one
politics
sentence,
of the
let me
TMC.
say one sentence.
Go ahead. Say
Let me say
two.
one sentence.
Say two, but be honest.
After 2026,
Be honest to yourself.
After 2026, Subhendu Adhikari will not come before the High Court because he will not
That's
win
their
the
answer.
election anymore.
That's their answer,
He is a
viewers.
former
They reduce
MLA,
everything
he will
to
be
a
former
political.
MLA,
No, they
and
reduce
even if he tries
everything
his
to a
level best,
political,
the BJP
rhetorical
West Bengal will
argument.
not
Can you
have
believe
more
it?
than
You have had, viewers,
So the BJP
people
standing
who,
here
when they were journalists, were talking about. No, they were talking about human rights. They were talking about the strength of institutions. And when they become MPs, viewers, they become completely absorbed by the political machine and can't bring themselves to speak the courage of conviction. Shameful, absolutely shameful. I leave it at this, viewers.
President Trump has doubled down on his declared intention to impose tariffs now on pharmaceutical imports into the US, and that could affect India heavily. India exported about $12 billion worth of pharma products to the US last year, and that's up from just about a couple of $1 billion a year worth only 10 years earlier. So this is an export that's been rising quite dramatically. About a third of all India's pharma exports now go to the US. So any break in that or any inhibition of that would certainly affect India's pharmaceutical companies, but also they would hit patients here in America.
Pharmaceuticals from India and also from China are particularly important in forming in the generic drug market. You know, that's where you have a lot of market drugs that people use routinely. Antibiotics are the most common one, but there are all sorts of common drugs that are used for cardiovascular diseases, for diabetes, etc., that are generic drugs. Prices for generic drugs will particularly increase, and that'll cause some problems both within the U.S. for people who take those medications, as well as for the countries that are exporting the pharmaceuticals.
Trump wants all these medicines now to be produced in the US and sees tariffs as the way to bring in production.
We don't make our own drugs, our own pharmaceuticals. We don't make our own drugs anymore. The drug companies are in Ireland and they're in lots of other places, China. And all I have to do is impose a tariff. The more, the faster they move in. The higher the tariff, it's very serious. It's inversely proportional. The higher the tariff, the faster they come.
But not so fast. Not so fast, certainly, as Trump seems to expect, and not so easy as Trump seems to think.
It's tough because there are high production standards that we want to have for these drugs. They are, depending on the drug, can be very complicated to manufacture, and then depend on particular supplies of certain sorts of inputs. You know, so for example, insulin products, in many cases, what they really require is that you have the inputs. The inputs tend to come from things like pig's intestines. So if you don't have a ready supply of pig's intestines, it's hard to make enough insulin.
It's not just about production standards and available inputs. It's about the economics of production.
There are reasons why many goods are produced in India or China. The cost of production is inherently lower. Labor costs are lower. In many cases, the supply of ingredients that go into these medications are already there, to bring them into the U.S., you may be able to do it, but inherently will be higher cost.
Given the price to be paid both by patients and producers, neither is likely to agree with the writing up on the wall at this pharmaceutical store. President Trump has doubled down on his declared intention to impose tariffs now on pharmaceutical imports into the US, and that could affect India heavily. India exported about $12 billion worth of pharma products to the US last year, and that's up from just about a couple of $1 billion a year worth only 10 years earlier. So this is an export that's been rising quite dramatically. About a third of all India's pharma exports now go to the US. So any break in that or any inhibition of that would certainly affect India's pharmaceutical companies, but also they would hit patients here in America.
Pharmaceuticals from India and also from China are particularly important in forming in the generic drug market. That's where you have a lot of market drugs that people use routinely. Antibiotics are the most common one, but there are all sorts of common drugs that are used for cardiovascular diseases, for diabetes, etc., that are generic drugs. Prices for generic drugs will particularly increase, and that'll cause some problems both within the U.S. for people who take those medications, as well as for the countries that are exporting the pharmaceuticals.
Trump wants all these medicines now to be produced in the US and sees tariffs as the way to bring in production.
We don't make our own drugs, our own pharmaceuticals. We don't make our own drugs anymore. The drug companies are in Ireland and they're in lots of other places, China. And all I have to do is impose a tariff. The more, the faster they move.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Donald Trump was waiting for a phone call from China. He said the Chinese want a trade deal but don't know how to ask for it. As it turned out, the Chinese had other plans. They were taking the trade war to TikTok. They have unleashed videos to humiliate Western brands. They've also curbed the supply of rare earth minerals. We'll tell you all about it. Also, if India can benefit from this standoff. As the US-China standoff worsens, how should